coming up on Outdoor Oklahoma.
I remember seeing the neighbor's barn just start spinning. And as I was sitting there, I was like, oh wow, what's happening? And then the next thing I knew, I was on the ground.
So let's say you realize you've been bitten by a tick. There's a right way to take care of the tick that's attached to you, and then there are several wrong ways.
Like this, and pull up. Like that.
Flavor that comes out of that first bite. You get that rosemary right off the top. Oh, you got him! You got him!
Oh!
Nice mess of blue cat we have right there.
Ready.
Now folks, this is what we're after. This is what you get in Outdoor Oklahoma.
Outdoor Oklahoma is brought to you by the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation, sharing the beauty, the adventure, and the spirit of Oklahoma's wild places.
I grew up in the woods. I grew up hunting and fishing. I grew up pulling ticks off of me like it was nothing. I was always under the impression, you know, if you got a tick illness, it was like catching the flu. It was no big deal. You're gonna get sick, you're gonna get over it, whatever.
I was running a low fever. I had chills. I had night sweats, and I had zero appetite, and I had absolutely no energy at all, and I couldn't get out of bed for like a month.
I remember seeing the neighbor's barn just start spinning. And as I was sitting there, I was like, oh wow, what's happening? And then the next thing I knew, I was on the ground. And I could not get up, absolutely could not get up. The world was spinning 90 million miles an hour. And then the panic started setting in because I didn't know what was happening.
Yes, the experience of going through it was brutal, absolutely brutal.
They are small, quiet, alarmingly patient, and almost unnoticeable. But ticks are carrying more than a bite. Hidden inside of some of them are pathogens, bacteria, viruses, parasites, capable of slipping silently into the bloodstream of a person and in a single moment, changing the course of a life. Ticks and the illnesses they carry have steadily expanded into new regions, new seasons, new populations. What was once dismissed as a minor outdoor inconvenience is now demanding a harder look at exposure, at prevention, and ultimately at life-altering risk.
So in 2008, I got called to a bear call on Grand Lake. By the time I got home that night, after dark, everybody dispersed and I was able to go home. And when I got home that night, I was covered in ticks, not just one or two, covered.
I have been bitten by ticks a lot, probably hundreds of times that I've pulled ticks off of me and have never considered anything about the possibility of getting a tick disease until March of 2025 when I started feeling like I had the flu, and yes, I had been bitten by a tick a few days earlier and didn't think anything of it, and I just assumed I had the flu.
Well, about a month to the day later, I was coming home from work, and I had maybe been noticing a few little different things in my health, but nothing major enough to go to the doctor. Like I remember thinking that, man, I'm starting to have some water weight or something. Like I felt like my joints were swelling or something like that. And I was around 35 years, no, I was around, I guess I would have been around 30 years old at the time. And I'm like, am I starting to have water weight. Is that what this is? I don't know. I remember calling my mom and asking her about that kind of stuff. And, you know, I'm like, why are my joints getting stiff and tight? And, you know, again, just kind of blowing it off. And then I was kind of having some, what I thought was just hot flashes from the heat of summer, you know, just getting too hot, working during the day and out too much. I didn't realize I was running low-grade fevers because I hadn't gotten sick enough yet.
Had fevers and chills and no appetite, and after 7 or 8, 9 days of not getting any better, my wife told me to go to urgent care, and I did. And of course they wanted to test me for the flu and COVID first, and those came back negative, and I had a kind of a negative reaction to the COVID test, I guess. My blood pressure went down to the point where I thought I was going to pass out. And when you tell nurses that you think you're going to pass out, they get real serious about things, and they wanted me to go to the hospital.
Anyways, a month to the day after the tick bites, I was pulling in my driveway and was on the phone with somebody as I was pulling in the driveway for work. And I got out of my truck and walked up to my porch, and I sat down on a outdoor couch that was on my porch to finish the phone call. And before I could get off the phone call, I remember seeing the neighbor's barn just start spinning. And as I was sitting there, I was like, oh wow, what's happening? And then the next thing I knew, I was on the ground. And I could not get up, absolutely could not get up. The world was spinning 90 million miles an hour. And then the panic started setting in because I didn't know what was happening. Luckily, because I had been on the phone, my phone was still close to me. So I tried crawling in the house, and I could not stand up. For the life of me, could not stand up. I was able to, you know, get my key in the door, just laying down and kind of drag myself in the house. But I kept my phone in my hand and had the wits about me enough to keep my phone with me. And by the time I got in the house, it wasn't going away. And I ended up calling 911. And luckily, the dispatcher that answered, she knew me, and I told her what I was experiencing, and I was embarrassed. I did not want to be calling 911 and talking to one of our dispatchers, but I told her what was happening, and she was like, oh my goodness. She's like, have you been bit by a tick? Immediately, this woman asked me if I'd been bitten by a tick.
And so I went to the emergency room, and they couldn't find anything in my blood work. And so the doctor said, we just need to send that off and get it tested for tick disease, and my test came back positive for a tick disease that I had never heard of, and the nurse that called to tell me what I had said she'd never heard of it, and she said, I don't even know how to pronounce it. And the best I can do is, it's called Ehrlichius chaffiniferus. And the Chaffee comes from Chaffee, Arkansas, where this was first discovered back in, I think it was 1984.
In the United States, there are dozens of different tick species, and many of them will bite humans. Of those, at least 9 species are known to transmit pathogens that cause disease, and scientists have identified more than a dozen distinct tick-borne illnesses, from Lyme disease to alpha-gal. Each year, the CDC estimates hundreds of thousands of Americans are diagnosed and treated for tick-borne infections, and experts believe the true number may be even higher.
Well, they put me on about a month's worth of antibiotics, but at the end of that month, I still had fever. I still, everything was escalating at that time. My joint pain was worse. I was having numerous other symptoms by that time, and I ended up getting sent to an infectious disease doctor in Tulsa. And he said, well, you know, we don't have any other tick illnesses here in Oklahoma to worry about, and so you're standing, so you're fine. He said, I think it's the antibiotics giving you the fever. And so he took me off the antibiotics and sent me home. So for the next 4 years, I went through basically cycles of extreme illness, start feeling a little bit better, extreme illness, feeling a little bit better, always running fevers. I don't think for years I ever completely broke a fever. Had always ran 99.9 to low 100s. Anyway, so it took about 4 years from that time on for me to get sick enough that the nerves in my brain started demyelinating. Some of my glands were infected, and I ended up getting sick enough that doctors started sending me for MRIs on my brain and that kind of stuff. And once they found the nerves in my brain demyelinating, I got sent to a tick specialist in another state. And it was then that I was actually finally tested for Lyme disease, and I tested positive for Lyme disease.
I couldn't get out of bed for like a month, and when I did get out of bed during that month, this disease had affected my equilibrium somewhat, and so that when I got out of bed, those first 3 or 4 steps that I took, you would have thought maybe I had had too much to drink. And so it was, I couldn't go anywhere and do anything.
I just kept getting more sick, and I called it my special Christmas for a long time, because it was like, what new symptom am I going to develop? What new problem is going to pop up? It got so severe that by the time I was diagnosed, I ended up off work for a year. I had to have a PICC line to my heart so that they could pump the antibiotics straight to my brain. I could barely talk. I could not form a cohesive sentence at all. There were days I couldn't walk without running into walls and that kind of stuff. I had to have help just getting around. I was terrified. And I was terrified that my life was over at that time. I had a lot of good game wardens that donated sick leave to me and that kind of stuff that got me through that year. But I remember many days thinking that I would end up in some nursing home or something like that, just slobbering on my pillow or something. But God had other plans. And I'm stubborn, and we worked through it. It took, the year of IV antibiotics, and I did about, and I know a lot of doctors, if they're watching this, are gonna cringe because they may or may not believe in this amount of antibiotics, but I took antibiotic shots. I gave them to myself under the supervision of this tick specialist for 5 years. And it took that long to get my health back, but I did get it back. After the year off with the IV, with the PICC line, as soon as I got the PICC line out was when I came back to work. Probably came back to work a little bit quicker than I should have, but I still came back to work and still did what I needed to do. It was just a little hard.
The thing about this disease is it is harder the older you are. And so, somebody like me I was 67 when I got this, it can be a life-threatening disease. And in fact, my doctor shared with me that he'd had one other patient years ago that had this disease, and they passed away from complications of the disease. Younger people, probably not as serious, but still, you need to get in and get diagnosed and start getting treatment for it as soon as possible. You know, I'm not going to let my tick disease keep me from enjoying the great outdoors. But it has taught me that I do need to take precautions to not get bitten by ticks. And I have not always been good at spraying before I went out into the outdoors. And after my bout with this disease, I will make sure that I spray my clothes with something to prevent ticks from getting on me. And I also recognize that even after doing that, there's still that one possibility that, you know, that tick can still bite me. I'm not going to let it stop me from enjoying the outdoors, but I am going to be a little more cautious about being outdoors and take precautions to try to prevent from getting bit by the tick in the first place.
The absolute best thing that you can wear is permethrin, and that is a spray that you can put on your clothes. You treat them outside, and it is good for several washings. I think if you buy Sawyer's at Walmart, it's good for about 12 washings for an article of clothing. You can do your socks, you can do your boots, you can do your jeans, you can do everything. And you saturate your clothes in it, and when the ticks touch it, they die. So you don't have to worry about them attaching to you. And it's made from the chrysanthemum flower.
Do not let the ticks stop you from going out. Prevention is the best medicine. So just make sure you take precautions, put on the repellent before you go out, make sure you check when you get back home that you don't have any ticks crawling on you or embedded in you. If you do have one that is embedded in you, you know, pull it out and just monitor the bite area. If it starts turning red or swelling, or if you start, you know, feeling like you come down with the flu or a really bad cold, then get to the doctor immediately and get tested for one of the many tick diseases that we have here in Oklahoma.
Don't be afraid of going outside. Don't be afraid of ticks. They're a nuisance, yes, but it's easily remedied by treating your clothes properly, preferably with permethrin to kill the ticks instead of just trying to repel them with DEET products, and removing the ticks properly. Check yourself after every time you've been outside, and then just remove it properly. And then I would say my last advice is just pay attention to your body and any new symptoms that might develop, and get to a doctor quickly if you do develop symptoms. Don't blow it off if you're an outdoorsman, because it can turn into something that's a little bit more than the flu, and you want to get treated as quickly as possible.
So let's say you realize you've been bitten by a tick. There's a right way to take care of the tick that's attached to you, and then there are several wrong ways. Some of them may have worked for you in the past. You were lucky. It may not always work that way. People have, for eons, tried to get a tick to back out because it feels a hot object. Sure, that seems like a good reason to back out, but that really doesn't do anything except for potentially cause the tick to spit more inside of you. So it's never been a good idea to try and get a tick to attach using a hot object. What if you miss and you burn someone's skin as well? It's not a good idea. How about things like suffocation products like botanical oils or Vaseline or something like that? Again, the better idea is to remove the tick right away, as quickly as possible, and without squeezing the back end. So squeezing a bag of potentially filled with germs into your skin. Remember, that tick is attached to your skin with a straw. So the last thing you want to do is to squeeze anything in or delay waiting for the tick to decide that it is suffocating and back out or something like that. So some of these things may work for certain types of ticks, especially American dog ticks that have short mouth parts, but won't work for ticks like Lone Star ticks or black-legged ticks that have long mouth parts. Those ticks, when they bite, they're in it to win it. They want to get that blood meal, and they secrete cement, so they're not going to back out very easily. So if one of those other methods worked for you in the past, I still wouldn't rely on it, because unless you know what type of tick it is, it may be one of those ticks that has cemented itself into place. Our advice is that if you find a tick attached to yourself, always have a nice pointy tweezer to remove the tick from, so that you can grab as close to your skin as possible and just pull straight out. So this leads us to another mistake that people often make, is that they want to get rid of the tick as quickly as they possibly can. And the mistake there is that, well, what kind of tick was it? How long was it attached to you? You just found it now. Maybe you think it just attached, but maybe it was attached for a day or 2 days or 3 days. You say, no way, doc, that can't have happened, but it can happen that way. And so make sure that you save the tick, put it in a Ziploc bag or some other kind of a container until you've had a chance to take a picture of it and send it to a tick expert to find out just what kind of tick it is and what your risk is likely to be. The biggest mistake that you can make is not wearing tick repellent clothing, because these ticks are out there. They're likely to get on you if you go into their habitat. And so always be ready. Be ready for ticks using all the preventive strategies that we've suggested, including wearing tick repellent clothing and shoes.
So the reason you don't want to really hurt the tick is actually that the tick is feeding on you and salivating. And so when you burn the tick, it salivates even more. Pretty much you're scaring it and it just goes bleh into you. And that's what you want to avoid, because in the saliva you have potential pathogens. So you want to avoid that. The safe way to remove ticks is to take your tweezers, and you want to go as close to the skin as possible. And you want to hold on to your tick, and what you're going to be doing is you're going to hold on and you're going to pull straight up. Slowly, steadily. You don't want to twist, you don't want to jerk, you just want very steadily to hold on to your tick like this and pull up like that. Now you have your tick. The mouth parts are there. People worry about not having the head stay into you. They don't really have a head to speak of. All they put in there is little mouth parts. They're sinking their teeth into you. And so the teeth, when you remove them that way, you can see them, they're right there. The place where you had your tick, always a good idea to disinfect with alcohol and to monitor the area just to make sure. Wood ticks don't transmit Lyme disease, so you wouldn't have a problem with that. That said, they are a little critter that lives in the wild, and there could be some kind of bacteria, or even just because there's a hole in your skin, you could have staph infection or anything like that. So just clean the area with alcohol or soap and water and keep an eye on it.
Outdoor Oklahoma is produced by the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation and is proud to serve and be funded entirely by sportsmen and women and outdoor enthusiasts who love and appreciate all things wild in the great state of Oklahoma. Connect with us online on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube. Want to know more about the Wildlife Department? Visit us at wildlifedepartment.com. Thanks for watching.